Hi everyone, my name is Josh. How are you? I'm fine, but recently it was just awful, and all because, as my girlfriend Ashley says, I don't have a clean aura. In general, I am not a superstitious person and I have no preconception at all, but a recent incident is a bit confusing. Well, okay, I won't delay for a long time. Now I'll tell you everything. And while you put likes, subscribe to the channel, and yes, don't forget to write in the comments, did you have this and do you believe in karma? My girlfriend Ash and I have been dating for almost a year. We went to school together before, then she went to another school, but our relationship only got stronger. We are different in terms of, I'm more of a realist or something, but she believes in energy, in the power of the universe, in karma and reincarnation after death. Well, like that. No, different points of view do not prevent us from meeting. It's even funny. But oddly enough, Ash has never had any phobias, although everyone has them. Yes, even take spiders, for example. She believes that these are just the same living creatures as we humans. There's nothing to be afraid of. All the more so because the spiders are small, and we are like that, she always said. I adored her for that. But I don't have too much to do with my fears. I've always been afraid of confined spaces. Ash knows that I should never be left alone in small and especially dark rooms, and if that happens, only she can calm me down. She immediately hugs me, kisses me, and I calm down. For those who don't know, this fear is called claustrophobia. I've had it ever since my sister snapped at me and locked me in the closet for a few hours. My parents found me, and I couldn't get out all the time. Since then, I've had this kind of fear. And although Ashley tried many times to change my mind and attitude to the problem, nothing happened. I did not even want to think about and remember that incident. So one day, Ash and I decided to go to another city together for a weekend. We planned to visit Ash's sister, stay with her for a couple of days, and return home. Ash's sister was a homemaker, but her husband worked for a good real estate firm. His office was located almost in the center of the city in a high-rise building, and there was a restaurant on the top floor, which wasn't cheap. But when we arrived, Ash's sister and her husband invited us there to meet them. It was nice. We all stopped at their house, changed our clothes, took a dip from the road, and went to get ready for dinner. I put on my only suit, and Ash's sister gave me a gorgeous evening dress. And so beautiful we went to dinner. Everyone's mood was high, and I had already made up jokes in my head to make everyone laugh. As soon as we entered the restaurant, I saw the elevator and felt uneasy. Ashley noticed how nervous I was and took my hand gently, and I tensed a little, but then calmed down. We somehow took the elevator to the restaurant, and I took us a table by the window. The view was amazing. While the girls were looking at the menu, I went to the bathroom, and you have no idea who I met on the way. My sister Gina. She's my twin, but unlike the other twins, we don't communicate at all. We had a lot of disagreements and quarrels, but her imprint in the form of my acquired phobia was remembered for life. So as soon as we had a chance to choose, we chose different roads and tried to take turns coming to my parents' house. And now, after all these years, I meet her in a strange city in a skyscraper restaurant. She stood and looked at me, and I looked at her. Turns out Gina works there as a waitress. It seemed to me that the work should change her, but it only got worse, even more harmful and rude than it was. As soon as she saw me, she immediately started throwing phrases at me, like how scary or stupid I am. Pretending I didn't know her, I went to the bathroom and quickly sat down. She came to take the order, apparently deliberately switched with our waiter to stare at my girlfriend. Gina watched us with a malicious look. I quickly made an order, but she asked me 100 times and it started to infuriate me. Out of nerves, I was rude to her, threw the menu on the floor and said that it was unintentional. Gina picked it up, apologized, and went to get the order. As soon as we finished our second meal, Ash ordered dessert. I decided to go outside for a smoke and left them for a while. As soon as I entered the elevator, the doors began to close. Suddenly I saw the silhouette of my sister. She smiled wickedly and waved at me. I already knew something bad was going to happen. As soon as I reached the 21st floor, the elevator stopped abruptly. "Oh no, what have you done?" I shouted to my sister. The elevator seemed to be stopped by hands. The light inside flickered sharply. I almost fell and pressed myself against the wall as best I could. One light bulb immediately burned out from the shake. I didn't have a phone or anything with me, just a lighter and cigarettes. Suddenly, I felt my breath quicken, and I started to panic. I began to rush from side to side. I thought I would suffocate. My palms were sweating, my knees were shaking, and the elevator was shaking. I did not know what I should do. I even forgot to press the elevator button in my panic. I was just running around in a small elevator and looking for air. After 15 seconds, the second light bulb burned out, and I took out a lighter to shine it on myself. I started yelling at the top of my lungs for someone to come to my aid and open the door. It was terribly stuffy, and I could feel my sweat and fear. I beat my fists on the walls of the elevator, and after a while it started working sharply. I drove probably one floor and got stuck again. The second shock just not seriously scared me again. I thought back to the day when my sister locked me in the closet, and I felt even worse. I got to the buttons and started poking at everything, and I screamed so hard that tears came out of my eyes. My lighter got very hot, and I dropped it. By touch, I tried to open the elevator doors to call for help. Somehow I slipped my shoe between the doors, caught my fingers, and opened the door a little. Before my eyes was the floor or ceiling. It is unclear. I saw that I was stuck between floors. I took a huge breath and began to call for help. It seemed to me that I was going crazy, and if I didn't get out now, I would definitely die. At my cry, some people gathered. They tried to calm me down, but nothing happened. I was shaking so hard that I couldn't keep my teeth together. Suddenly, the elevator doors slammed again. I barely had time to jump back, and it went, and then stopped again a couple of floors later. I knew it was all my sister's doing, so she's mocking me. I started kicking the elevator and shouting for help with the last of my strength. I was so caught up in the screams that I didn't notice Ashley running up to me, and she started hugging and kissing me. I opened my eyes and realized that the elevator doors were open, and I arrived on the first floor unharmed. Ashley, her sister, and her husband helped me up. I looked like I had been through a war. I was covered in tears, drooling, and red. I left a great impression of myself at a meeting with the girl's sister. In the crowd, someone suggested calling a doctor, and I realized it was my sister's voice. I got up and went over to her and told her she wasn't going to get a tip. Then I took Ash's hand and we left. We decided to go somewhere else where Gina wasn't, so we could sit quietly. On the way, I told her about my phobia and my sister, to which Ashley said that she would always be there to monitor my condition. When we returned to our apartment, I found a letter on the doorstep. It was written by my sister. It was strange, but she apologized for making fun of me as a child and in a restaurant. She said that she was embarrassed in front of my girlfriend and that she did not know what state she had brought me to. Jean never promised to interfere in my life again unless I asked her to. Ashley insists that I forgive her and invite her to our home. She thinks it's a great reason to reconcile and get rid of internal fears, but I'm still thinking whether it's worth it. What do you think, friends?